Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. So I've been thinking lately. I've had a couple of really bad days, just for no apparent reason. Um, just all of a sudden starting to feel just sort of really low and really down. Um, Last week, Thursday was just a complete write-off of a day. I got really stressed out on Wednesday for just no apparent reason. I just found myself really stressed out, and then Thursday, I just didn't get out of bed until, like 3 in the afternoon or something. And I sat around in a onesie with my hood up, no telly on, probably tweeting at people and social mediaing and just feeling generally sorry for myself. Um, but I don't know why. And I went out sorted my life out a bit. I went out on Friday morning, did a bit of shopping. And then Friday afternoon I had laser. And Saturday I spent the whole day, well, most of the day getting tattooed. And yesterday, Sunday, was Mother's Day, and that was actually quite a good day. It's just had this weird blip in the middle. And I don't know what caused it. I'm not sure if it was just a culmination of just lots and lots of stresses and what's the right word? Just little niggly things. At the moment, I'm really noticing more now when I get misgendered. I suppose possibly because it's happening less. But I'm really noticing it when it happens. It might be because it's happening less, or it might be that I'm perhaps a little more sort of offended by it at the moment. Because, at risk of sounding and using horrible words like pass, because I'm sort of used to how I look, how I sound, and I'm used to seeing me when I, look in a mirror now. That is sort of the image I have of myself in my head. And they talk about it in the Matrix, don't they? That residual self-image that is after he's pulled out the Matrix and he's got his hair back, and although the holes in him have gone. Sorry, Matrix reference. And that's kind of how I feel about me. It catches me off guard now, I think, when someone says, when someone does misgender me, calls me sir, or dead names me, which is horrible. But the offence is the important bit. And I think there's a massive difference between sort of taking offence at something that was, obviously and deliberately antagonistic, and deciding, actually, I'm offended that you've got that attitude towards me, that you're being deliberately antagonistic towards me, or just taking offence because somebody slipped up, or, a sort of, what's the word, like a Freudian slip. I think that someone said to me, my tattooist of all people, he said to me, offence is only something you can take, it's not something you can give. I thought, that'd be stupid. You can set out to cause offence. Yes, you can. And what he was saying to me is, yes, you can, but if the other person just says, yeah, that doesn't offend me, or I'm not offended by that, or that hasn't hurt me, then it doesn't cause offence. So I think he's sort of right, that someone can choose to be sort of horrible or antagonistic, but you don't have to let it hurt you. And by the same token, if somebody does slip up or say the wrong thing, or, drop the odd him or sir thing in there, you don't need to be, or I don't need to be, you might be horrendously offended by it, but offended by it if it's not really hurting you. So I think I've kind of just probably, I've just got to get a thicker skin, haven't I? My tattooist told me that as well, actually. It was kind of bleeding, but that's slightly different, I think. Yeah, I think that as a community, sometimes we can be seen as people that just take offence for almost for the sake of it. And I think there are people out there that are sort of serial complainers, and they go online and they seek out these I hate the word, but they seek out these discussions, these bigoted discussions, or these horrible comments, and they dig and drill and dig down until they find something that offends them so that they can go on a rant and sit behind the keyboard and type about it. Well, don't. Just don't rise to it, you know? They can't offend me if I just choose to not get offended by it. I don't know how many times, you know, we sit there, and I know I do, and I sit there and think, oh, bigotry is stupid, and these people's opinions about things are so old-fashioned, and that's as far as it needs to go. Why should I be offended because somebody else is stupid? You know? Your stupidity offends me. I do know some people like that, actually, where their stupidity does offend me, but not that many. I try and not associate myself with people like that too often if I can avoid it. Oh, and Pacific. That is a level of stupid that drives me crazy every time. People that say Pacific instead of specific. I think there's a special place reserved in hell for those people, but that's never mind. Or as they would say, irregardless of that. Anyway, look, I've strayed from topic. Point is that, you know, I think that perhaps what I was doing is letting myself get too worked up about just all these little things and then building them into bigger things and bigger problems. And I've sort of decided to take a leaf out of my own book. I'm always telling people, just, you know, just focus, refocus, think about what's actually important, think about what you're actually doing, what's actually going on right now, not worrying about 100 steps ahead, just concentrate on getting the next one sorted. So I'm going to try and do a bit more of that. I'm going to try and take less offence when people, you know, probably didn't mean to be offensive. Like today, in a meeting, and somebody said, right, gents, can I get anyone a coffee? I'm sitting there like, great. But, you know, I think it's just a turn of phrase. I don't think that person was set out to be offensive. They were really lovely to me the whole time I was there. So, yeah. Well, that was really professional. My phone rang and the call interrupted the video. And I've sort of lost my train of thought. I think I was basically saying is, I'm kind of getting over the whole just being offended for the sake of it thing. I really don't think there's any point because it's just making my own life a misery. If somebody is clearly setting out to upset and antagonise you, then fair enough, you know, feel justified in saying to them. But like I say, I'm going to take a leaf out of my own book a little bit and try and deal with one problem at a time, not panic about the whole world causing all sorts of problems and trying to fix everything at once and change the opinion of an entire culture and society. Just worry about what I've got to do next, or not even worry about what I've got to do next. Concentrate on what I've got to do next, and try not to get so offended all the time. Anyway, sorry for my really professional quality of video editing, and maybe I should stop using my phone for doing these things. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Peace and love. Bye.